Welcome to the Catholic Life Coach Podcast. My name is Carla Fitz. I'm a certified life coach, wife, and mom of two beautiful little girls. My hope for this podcast is to offer support and empower other Catholic women to live their most authentic life. To share life coaching tools from a Catholic perspective in order to help you live a more fulfilling life filled with peace, joy, and abundance. Let's get started. Hello and welcome. I'm so excited to be here with you guys. Just as always blessed to be sitting in this place. And today is actually super windy here in Nebraska, and I am loving the colors of fall and just enjoying every minute that I get. Right now, I am sitting in my office next to my beautiful baby boy, and it's going to be interesting because he's getting to that period of time where he's talking more and he's making these super cute baby sounds. But I don't know how much you guys will appreciate the baby sounds as I am teaching you something. So it's going to be very interesting, but it's going to be fun. And this is a new season of my life. And I am considering this season of the podcast also a new season because it's different. I feel different. I am called to different things and very in touch with different parts of myself as well. And right now, I'm actually highly in touch with my motherhood and this journey that God has put me in to be the mother of these three little kids. And just the journey of becoming a mom from the very beginning to now, it's been up and down for sure. And I've learned a lot of things along the way. And for that, I'm very grateful. And I've healed a lot of things along the way as well. For that, I'm even more grateful. To be fully honest, the reason why I got into life coaching, I think I've always shared that I got into life coaching to lose the weight. But the reason why I got into life coaching was to be there for my children. The whole thing started because I was committed to changing my life in order to live a longer life with my girls. At the time, I didn't have Geo. And I just felt so called to changing my life. Something was wrong. I felt like I was called to more. I was called for dreams. I had dreams in my heart that I really wanted to pursue, but I felt like my reality was not allowing me to. I felt like, no, I am a mom now, so I need to be serious. I'm a wife now, so I need to be more serious and more realistic. And when I think back to my childhood, that was not something that was ingrained in my brain. When I was growing up, my mom and dad were very much those two parents who were dream big and pursue the things that are in your heart and go for it. There's nothing that is limiting you except for yourself. They were very vocal about these things. And I feel like as I got older, I had proved that that's the way it worked, at least for my young life. Like my dream was to leave my country, Venezuela, and move to the US and learn a new language and learn a new culture. And I left and it worked. And God provided each step of the way. I noticed that because I was so open, things were just flowing. They were working out. But what I also had back then was a resilience to never quit until it worked. I met a friend recently, and if you are listening, you know that this came from you. Thank you. That said that if it has not worked yet, then we're not done. And I remember that for me, it was like, well, if it's not working, then it's not meant to be. But what she said was like, no, if it hasn't worked, then you're not done. The journey is not done yet. And that was kind of my mentality back then, being 16, 18, 19, like all of those years between leaving Venezuela and being in college. I just had this vision that I was going to stay here, that I was meant to stay in this country. And I didn't know how it was going to happen, but I knew that it was going to happen because it was so, so strong in my heart. And then as I got older, I feel like I started believing that then I needed to be realistic. And I'm putting this quote unquote, I needed to be realistic. And I think, again, society just kind of makes us believe that that is the truth. You have to be realistic. Your goals need to be realistic. They need to be within the scope of your reality right now. And that's not how it works. The way we are able to change our reality is by dreaming, is by having an idea first and then starting to create it. But I spent so many years not co creating with God. Instead, I was avoiding every single dream, every single desire in my heart. Instead, what I spent time doing was complaining because things were not changing. I was hoping that something would shift in order for me to have a new life, to have a new vision, to have a new mindset. But nothing changed. I felt stuck in my life. The timing of this was I graduated from college, went into my master's. I was dating my husband. We got married. And in the span of 6 months, I started gaining weight and started getting settled in that life of, well, we don't have much. Well, we don't have any really goals because my husband was finishing school, and I gained a lot of weight. And I started getting into that mindset of, okay, I'm a wife now. I don't know if anyone relates to this, but I'm a wife now. So I need to be serious and take life seriously instead of just taking it lightly and as an adventure. And for me, my desire with my husband was to live a life filled with adventures. And I'm not saying necessarily big, ginormous things, but in the little things. I wanted to experience buying my first house with my husband. I wanted to experience buying our second house with my husband and finding out we were pregnant with him, and like all this life filled with joy and adventure and abundance. And instead, the life that I was living was a life of lack, of stuck, of not good enough. And I did not know that a lot of that, most of that, 99% of that, was being created in my mind. And that in order for me to shift something or to create new things, I needed to be open to other possibilities rather than the possibilities that my humanity could see in that particular moment or in this particular set of circumstances. And I found out as I went that I started gaining more weight. I became pregnant, and that was super exciting. But again, I was in that mindset of, okay, I'm a mom now. This is a reality. And I was committed that that was it. And it restricted a lot of my vision and my possibilities. And what it created was a lot of pain in my heart because I felt like there would never be any more than the grind. There would never be anything else in my life but the day to day wake up in the morning, go to work, feel sick because I was pregnant, and have supper with your husband for a little bit and go to bed and repeat. I thought that that was it. I thought that there would be no other choice but to go to work, I guess, and come back home and feel not fulfilled. I'm talking very weirdly, but I just did not feel fulfilled. I did not feel joyful or connected with my life. I felt this pull to more. And I felt like, no, I meant to do something. I don't know what it is, but I feel like I need to do something. And the next pull in my life was I really, really, really wanted to be home with my kids more. And I could not admit that to myself because, again, my head was convinced that I needed to be quote unquote responsible. That if I decided to stay home, I would be quitting everything that I worked for. I went to school to be a musician, and then I went to school again to be in education and teach. And that's what I was doing at the time. And at the time, I loved my job. I loved teaching my kids, like my children in school. I loved it. But I had two little girls at home. And I felt like I was doing something that I was no longer feeling called to. Because where I was at this moment was a creation from my past self. And I realized that, yeah, I was meant to be here. I was meant to be a teacher, but God is pulling me out. And you guys, had the hardest time letting go of that reality because nothing else felt safe. And in that period of time, I was committed that how else could I serve you? I was committed to holding on, and that was a big sign of pride from me. I wanted to hold on to what I knew because it made more sense. And then COVID hit. Great COVID, wasn't it? Just fun. Anyhow, I got pulled out of school anyway, and I decided in that period of time that I was just going to take a break, that I felt really cold to be at home with my children. And from there, God has just been leading me more and more in my desire to first be His, to choose from Him, to be my husband's wife and my children's mother and be present in their life in a more day to day, every single day way than I ever imagined possible for me. And life coaching shifted everything for me because I had these beliefs that if I left my secure, quote unquote, secure, because nothing is really secure, job, I was being irresponsible. That if I was going to start this new life for me, in which I was homeschooling my kids, in which I started a new business and created a podcast, like that was just too much. It was too much of a life. I felt like that was impossible to achieve and that it would take a really long time. And now sitting here in this office, I just can't explain God's goodness and God's graces too, because it is not easy. I'm not here to tell you guys that when you decide to change something and to go against the traditions and the expectations of the world, it's an easy job. It's not, because they have an expectation of what your life should be. And we have an expectation. This is the biggest part. We have an expectation on their expectation. We're like, well, we cannot move unless those people approve. And these are people that matter to us. And when you go against the current, especially when God is calling you to do something outside of your comfort zone, it is not easy. But the alternative is that we live a life that is not authentic to ourselves. The alternative is that we live a day-to-day grind in which we feel stuck and unable to shift. The alternative is to live a life in which we are pretending to be someone whom we are not. So it's hard too. I always love pointing out to my clients and to myself that we are choosing our hard. So, do we choose a hard in which we shift our life and we create a reality in which we feel aligned and connected and joyful? Or do we stay stuck in the reality which we're miserable and stuck and feeling disconnected, but it's safe, quote unquote, safe? It's safe because it's what we know, it's what our brain knows. We know what to expect. And we're like, well, it's terrible, but at least I know what to expect. Whereas if we choose to leave and do something different with our life, it's more exciting, but it's terrifying because we have no idea what's next. For both scenarios, it's difficult. But when you live your life more connected to who you are meant to be, you become more joyful. No circumstance in your life is going to determine how you feel. It's your thoughts, it's what you believe to be true that determine your emotion and how you are feeling in your day-to-day life. And you decide to step into the person that God is calling you to be, and you decide to just make a shift in your life in order for you to grow, in order for you to learn new things and to pursue something that truly you feel called to, everything around you shifts. But the mistake that we can make is expecting something in the outer world to change before things change within us. Nothing outside of us can change unless we decide to change inside of us first. That's why I think it's so powerful to have life coaching in your life when you are going through a transition period, when you are not happy in your life right now, but you're able to find joy in your today, rather than dreaming that once you get to that goal, then you'll be happy. The truth is that we give too much power to our circumstances. If we have that thing, then we'll be happier. If we get to that place, then we'll be happier. And no, we get to be happy today. We get to be joyful, to choose to have joy today in the little things. But we also need to be true to ourselves because that is the only way we are going to change in our lives. We need to be truthful to whom God is calling us to be. And stop pretending that we don't need to change anything. Stop pretending that we are happy just as it is in order for us to not feel discomfort. This shift for me in becoming a stay-home mom and becoming a business owner, in starting the podcast, in coaching, in working with other amazing Catholic women who are transforming their lives, is not easy, but it is my choice of a 50-50 life. That is empowering because you no longer feel like your life is being ruled by someone else. You feel connected because you are choosing on purpose. You feel connected because you're saying yes to the callings that God is putting in your heart. That makes a big difference in how you live your day to day. Yes, sometimes it's a grind, and yes, sometimes it's not easy, but it's also so fun. And because we love what we do, it makes a difference on how we feel about our lives. It's a healing. I believe fully that the journey between who you are today and the journey towards the person that you are wanting to become or God is calling you to be, it's a journey of healing. Healing the thoughts that were put in your mind by your parents, by society, by the husband, by by friends, by you. It's a healing process. And in order to become that next version of yourself, it's important for you to look in, to check in, to be curious about what you are believing, because what we believe, we create more of. The truth is, God is a God of abundance. He wants us to live our life in joy, connected with Him, and in abundance with Him. We are not meant to live our lives through misery and through pain and only pain. There is purpose in everything that we go through. But when we learn that we have that choice and we have that opportunity to grow with Him and within ourselves, it's freeing, it's exciting. We get to live our life in a different way. And I am so grateful that I said yes to this calling because it's a shift. I'm sitting in here recording the podcast with this newborn baby, and it's a shift because I'm no longer by myself in this room. And I love that because I felt called to it. It was not forced, it was a choice, it was a gift. And I think everything in our life can be that way as well. Question yourself this week. Ask yourself, what is God calling me to do? How is God calling me to change? Explore those thoughts or those emotions that you're feeling, because in that desire lies an opportunity for change, lies an opportunity for growth, and it lies an opportunity to create that life that is more fulfilling for you. You are not living your life through the motions. You are making choices for your future self. You're changing your life from now, feeling good now, and enjoying the process of becoming that person. It's so, so fun. But the process happens from within. It changes from the inside out, not the other way around. And God calls us to it, to heal our thoughts, to work in our minds, to open that door in which we are welcoming Him in every single step of the way. All right, my loves, I hope that made sense. And I hope you enjoy the rest of your week, your weekend, and take some time off to journal and experiment and try to reconnect with that person that really wants that dream or that desire and that change in your life. And ask her why. And ask God, what's the next step? Just the next step, not the whole way, just the next step. All right, I'm sending you so much love, and I will see you in the next one. God bless. Hey, thank you so much for listening and for being part of this community. If you are enjoying these episodes, I want to encourage you to subscribe so that you get notifications the next time the episodes are out. I also want to invite you to come with me and experience this work, to take these concepts and these episodes to a deeper level, to change your life from the inside out, to heal these thoughts that are keeping you feeling stuck and unfulfilled, to create a life that God is calling you to create, to co-create with Him, because it all starts with healing our minds and our hearts in order for us to see change in our world. Without God, we can't, but without us, He won't. So it is time to, on purpose, create that life that we dream of. All you need to do is sign up for a free one-on-one consultation with me, and the link is in the description. I will see you then.